Hello and a sincere welcome to my subscribers and viewers. Today you join us for a brief review of Nintendo's game from the new widescreen series, called Mario Cement Factory. This was the 42nd Game & Watch issued and was first offered for sale on the 16th of June 1983. Perhaps, disappointingly for a Mario-themed game, this unit sold only 250,000 copies. Given the production code of ML-102, this game represents the second offering in the new widescreen series. The inclusion of a cartoon-style illustration set just below the Game & Watch emblem, on the left-hand side of the screen, and a different screw alignment on the reverse of the unit, which holds the case together, are the things that underscore the differences with this series, from the earlier but similarly named, widescreen series. Battery insertion, time and alarm settings, the overview of how to play including the point system and bonus rounds are covered here. Please feel free to pause on any page that interests you. The cartoon flow diagram style of instruction, which has become a standard throughout the later Game & Watch models. Shown here is how Mario needs to move quickly between platforms, and how he has to activate the 4 levers before more than 3 loads of cement are poured into each vat. And the instruction booklet finishes up with the basic specifications. Again, please feel free to pause the video on any page of the instructions to access the written details. As previously mentioned, Mario Cement Factory, seen here in the lower left of our screens, is the second of 8 games issued in the new widescreen series. We also see the complete set here, along with Donkey Kong Jr. in the bottom right, which we covered in our last episode. This super cute game, Mario Cement Factory, is presented in a brilliant metallic burgundy red metal faceplate, which is further offset by a silver bezel, and finished off with a pure white border, which really makes this handheld stand out from the crowd, at least visually. While having the name of that Italian plumber in the title, simply looking at the game would in no way give any indication that the character that you take control of, while dashing around the cement factory, is indeed that of Mario. The LCD visuals are, at least to the modern eye, so crude and rudimentary that it is often little more than a black blob character moving in what appears to be simple fits and spurts. To counter this stance, you could say that Nintendo has faithfully recreated the classic look, and again remembering this was back in 1983. Yet on the other hand, the cynics might justifiably say Nintendo simply has not bothered to make any extra effort here, instead of accepting pure and repetitive melancholy. For example, the same music used here can be found in the 1980 Game & Watch called Judge, which, if you listen, is used for the menu screen, while the gameplay sounds used are merely a case of bleep and bloop noises as you move around. The actual gameplay is again simple, but it is fun, taking inspiration from the previous game called Mario Brothers, from the multi-screen series of Game & Watch, that was set in a bottling factory. Joining the gameplay shown here, we see Mario has just fallen and lost a single life. As with most Game & Watch titles, the player begins with an initial 3 lives at the start of every game. We are currently playing Game Mode A, which is the easier of the 2 options available. As you can see here, the cement is automatically delivered at the top to both the left and right sides. It's deposited to the first vat or bucket, and builds up there. However, it has a maximum capacity of 3 loads. Mario's task is to access the moving elevators, which always descend on the left and ascend on the right to get to the 4 possible levers. As the game speeds up, you'll see that the process of emptying the cement is not instant, and each layer must descend for the lever to be effective again. And while I was talking, the top left vat or bucket has been overloaded and Mario has now lost his second life. With the score showing around 70 points, we see that the delivery speed of cement from the top increases as we progress. The player receives a single point for every load of cement unloaded from the upper level buckets into the lower ones. And we also see that the player receives a further 2 points from each successful offloading of cement on that lower level into the 2 waiting trucks. If a player reaches 300 points, his lost lives will be restored and a fanfare will play. With the buckets filling faster and faster, Mario seems hard-pressed to keep up. Near misses are the norm here, and you get the impression that it's only a matter of time before that last life is lost. I think it's going to be a toss-up between an overloaded bucket or Mario falling once again. This is manic. The game is obviously fun and stressful at the same time. The focus needed here is intense. With nearly every bucket being fully loaded, or nearly overloaded, the inevitable happens, and Mario falls, likely just before he'd have lost a life to too much cement in one of the vats anyway. So that's it, the game's over, for a total score of 148 points. Well, that's the gameplay. What y'all think? The original retail shipper box is seen here, that holds 10 new games that arrived in the store. Also, we can see an example of a complete unboxed game with its contents. Launched 2 months prior to the new widescreen version, Mario Cement Factory made its initial appearance in the form of the tabletop series model shown here, which we'll review at a later date. Much later, in 2002, we saw the modern version included in the Game & Watch Gallery 4 for the Game Boy Advance. But back in 1995, the original Game Boy featured a re-release of Mario Cement Factory with the iconic Game Boy Gallery. Less well known perhaps, was the 2009 re-release of today's star game, and focus of today's show, on what was known as the DSiWare platform. This is where players could go online with their DSi and download the version shown here. Being fully licensed by Nintendo, and seen here from my collection is the mini classic keychain version of Mario Cement Factory, from 1998. These tiny gems are faithful reproductions of the original game, and are also fully playable. The last variant I'm going to show you is an oddity only due to its packaging. It's what the collectors of today call a carded version. In reality, it's the tail end of production, the bargain basement version with all the original box and expensive packaging removed. This blister pack was priced to sell, helping Nintendo remove all of its overstocked units out of the distribution sites. Unsurprisingly, today we have avid collectors of these variants and their prices have skyrocketed. Well, that just about wraps up today's feature. I hope you enjoyed the quick and factual look at this Game & Watch, from the new widescreen series, called Mario Cement Factory. I've also added in a couple of period advertisements for this unit that were from this time, alongside an image of my copy of the game. Please feel free to pause and read or admire the publications. And finally, I'd like to briefly take a peek at the regional box variants from the various worldwide distributors that Nintendo used during this time. Here we see the UK's variant, branded CGL, which stands for Computer Games Limited. While in the US they received the colorful pocket-sized branded version. And in Germany, the distributor, called Trikotronic, took the unusual step of simply adding a sticker over a standard box. But no such shortcut from our French-speaking friends in their variant, called JI21. And that just leaves us with the standard Japanese version. And a very quick look at the reverse of a French variant before I say the usual stuff, like thanks for watching, like the video if you've enjoyed it. If you didn't, then that's fine too. Leave a comment on what you prefer to see instead on this channel. Let's work to make it better. We here on this video, like all YouTube channels, need subscribers to get promoted and seen, so I'd ask that you do take the time to press the subscription button for more factual content on Nintendo's long and interesting history. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for being here.